What's up, guys? Welcome to Season 2, Episode 1 of sWs, Shootin with Shane. Guys, I wanted to go big for Episode 1 of Season 2, so what I did was I went and got a big man of AACW, and he actually brought his muscle. So with me today, I've got the man known as Southern, Travis Southern, and I'm going to let you introduce big man here.
So this is my backup plan for everything that happens in AACW. This is the Hawaiian Hitman. He's a gentleman that I met on the beaches of Hawaii, and we had a lot of the same theories on life, and he decided that he wanted to come over here, and I feel like he's well worth what I'm paying him to watch my back.
For sure. Want to say real quick, obviously, brother, thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
I know you, Fort Wayne, so you made the drive down. I really appreciate that. Normally, what we do, big man, gotta respect the big man.
Oh yeah.
Gotta respect the big man. Yeah, man, like I said, I'm really happy to have you guys down, man. We're going to take this, and then we're going to get right into this, man, because I am very excited to have you. Former AACW World Champion.
Former for now.
Former for now.
Yeah, just put it that way.
So let's do this, big man. And gentlemen, I will say this. Cheers.
Cheers.
I want to start here real quick. Let's go back to a date here. Let's go back to September 18th real quick. You got pinned by my good brother, Damien DeVille. You lost the World's Championship.
I didn't lose. Okay, I was pinned and eliminated from the match.
True.
But I did not get pinned to lose the title.
The title. But no longer champion.
Mm-hmm.
Let's start
Hey,
here.
no, just for the record, I saw the excitement in your eyes.
Oh, yeah.
When your buddy Damien beat me
Mm-hmm.
in that match, I saw excitement in your eyes like I had never seen anybody get excited. And then just the fact that you had to keep thinking about how, oh wait, he didn't win the championship.
Win the title.
Because
You know, and funny story about that was Tanner was actually with me that night and stuff too. And I remember I was actually at the concession getting beer, and I didn't hear the stipulation of the elimination.
Yeah.
So when he pinned you, I love you, man, but when he pinned you,
right.
I was like you said, the excitement, man. I was like, oh my God, Ryan just won the world title. You know what I mean? Like, but I want to talk about that, man. World champion.
Yep.
You carried yourself very well as a champion. You were a very respectful champion in my eyes. You took a company's championship. You wore it proudly. And I thought and think the world of you as being a world champion. What's your thoughts, man, on being the world champion of AACW for as long as you was, and how you carried yourself being champion?
Honestly, to me, being the champion means that you're the face of the company. There are so many better athletes, entertainers, but I feel like with my experience and the talent that I can bring to the company, to any company, being its champion, being its face, man, it was a pleasure for me that Hog put me in the position to become the champion, and I took advantage of it and I ran with it.
Yeah.
Being the longest reigning AACW champion is something that I want to make sure everybody understands is a huge accomplishment, and it's something I'm always going to fall back on.
And you know, and speaking of being the longest reigning champion, because you are, that's a huge milestone in that company for you, because like, not only did Shane Hogg give you the opportunity to be world champion, not only did you carry the title, because what's the old saying? The title don't make the man makes the title.
Correct.
I felt like you made the title.
Yeah.
You were a very good champion, but let's talk about being the longest reigning, man, because that only happens once. You know what I mean? Like, you were the guy for said amount of days, longest reigning champion of AACW. Now you obviously don't have the championship. What's your plans going forward with the championship?
Right now, I'm more worried about, I'm more concentrating on the match that we have in November, because if I don't take care of business there, then I don't think it matters what my goals are in the future, because my career's on the line. So that's something.
And I know you and I were speaking briefly about this before we started rolling here. Yeah. So did you want to speak on that briefly as far as stipulation wise? I mean, that's a big match, man. That's huge for you to do what you're about to say.
Well, Hog, I've known him for a long time. My very first show ever working in Kokomo was working in a tag match against him. So, and that's back in the 2000, I mean, like 2003 or 2004. I mean, it's a while ago. I mean, it's been a long time. So we've known each other for a long time. With him and the whole Justin, Terrell, and Christian Cash thing.
Shout out to both of you boys.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later. He keeps interfering in matches that Brody and I are in. Now, talking about Brody Botkins, I don't feel that there's anybody else in this company that equals the level of commitment to what he does more than Brody Botkins. That's why I feel like he is the only person in the AACW that's my equal. Yeah. So teaming with him.
Hence why you're together.
Yeah, teaming with him is by far the best thing that I could do. And as opposed to teaming with Christian, Brody actually wants to learn. He wants to get better. He doesn't have all these outside things that are interfering with being the best wrestler, and of course Brody being a champion that he can be. So with Hog interfering in all the matches, I've lost 2 tag matches because of Hog. He's wanted to put his interference, and I'm tired of it. So on November 13th, we've set up a Survivor Series match, which is a classic, time frame to do it. It's Team Hog, Team Southern. So we lost the tag belt. So now Justin and Christian, they're the new AACW tag champs. Good for them. But that shouldn't be who is the champ. It should be Brody and I. But Hog wanted to get his 2 cents in.
I agree with that, by the way.
So I'm tired of it. So I'm willing, and of course Shane agreed. So I'm willing to put my career on the line on this Survivor match. If we lose this match, if my team loses, I will never set foot in an AACW ring again.
Now, how does that make you feel, man? Knowing that, because
it's scary.
Because you're a veteran, man.
It is.
Everyone I've talked to has brought your name up, either on camera, off camera.
Yeah, it's to know that. I mean, to do something that you love, and to know that you're giving, you could be giving that up, to where you're never gonna do something that you love ever again for a company that you felt like you've carried for the last 2 years. It's hard. It's hard.
Where you at mentally with that?
I'm in a good place because I have Brody Botkins on my side. Yeah. So that's the thing, and I'm gonna give you a breaking news thing right now.
Okay.
This man right here, the Hawaiian Hitman, is gonna be one of our team members. Big man. This is gonna be his very first in-ring appearance, to where he'll actually be in the ring, and I'm just letting you know that the other 2 people that we get, I have the utmost confidence that they're going to do what's right, and my team's going to win. So for me, it's more about what's going to happen to Hog. He's a great owner, and he's given me lots of opportunities, and when my team wins, the only opportunities he's going to have is to be able to carry my ring gear back to the back. So that's what's going to happen. He'll never be able to get in the ring.
And you have so much history with Hog too. Yeah. You have so much history. Let's go back to talking about being a veteran, because like I said earlier, just a few minutes ago, everyone that I've talked to has brought your name up. Pro wrestler, obviously. I know in pro wrestling you hear names: The Rock, Hulk Hogan, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart, CM Punk, Daniel Bryan, Bryan Danielson, whatever you want to call it. When you hear names like that, and then you have people who come in and they bring your name up constantly. I know you worked with Justin And I remember the first AACW match I actually went to, or event I went to, you were in the main event, and Christian was basically your lackey. And you were trying to teach Christian the ways of things. So let's talk about being a veteran and how you've taken people and you put them on your level in a way, because you did.
Mm-hmm.
So
I will give people an opportunity, and that's the difference between a Christian Cash and a Brody Botkins is Brody wants to learn and be the best entertainer wrestler. He has a goal. When I saw Christian Cash the very first time in AACW, he was ring announcing. Okay, Hogg's like, hey, I want you to talk to this guy, see if there's somebody that, if there's anything there. Okay, I talked to the guy, Christian. He's very entertaining, and I know you are a big fan.
Yeah.
So, and trust me, it hurts me to show the love that you give him, because he is entertaining, but just to know that there is so much wasted potential, and I'll explain why. Christian, we talked to him, and we had the group, the Knights, and we accepted him in. He was very young, he was very green, and we took him under our wing, tried to help him, tried to teach him the ropes, so to speak. The problem was Christian has too many things outside of wrestling. So he has
music,
he has acting. You've seen Canary Currency. He is on there. When he decides to wrestle, it's kind of like an afterthought. Now, during the pandemic, he wanted to get on and hype up he wanted to talk down to Hogg. He wanted to talk down to Justin Terrell because he thought that he was ready for that. I kept trying to tell him, keep your lane, stay what you're doing, focus. We can do great things. You have to have that drive. But his drive is not a straight line. It's, I'm going to do this and then come back. I'm going to do this and then come back. I got tired of all my advice falling on deaf ears. So, yeah, when he lost to Justin, I just got tired of it. And that's why I decided I didn't want him to be involved with me anymore. So, yes, I disavowed myself from him. So I decided we're done. So going forward, the only reason that Brody and I are even together is because of Hogg, Justin Terrell, and Christian Cash. Hogg demanded
those boys
that Justin come out with Christian in the match that him and I that we he was handed a heavyweight championship match. He hadn't done anything. He's lost 4 or 5 matches in a row, but because I turned on him and Justin gave him a hug, Hogg's like, oh, well, one of my golden boys is going to accept another one, so I'm going to give him a title shot. Okay, great. You're going to give him a title shot against me. Okay. What did Hogg talk about in his thing about how proud he was? Christian Cash took 2 weeks out of his life, 2 weeks to get ready. He went to a personal trainer. He was working out 2 weeks. That's what his drive was to get in a match with me, is 2 weeks. That's all he's out of. That's the level of commitment that I get, that he's not gonna do rap music, or he's not gonna do his acting. He's gonna take 2 weeks and focus. Now, Christian is very talented. I'm not gonna take anything away from him, because I saw potential in him. I saw what he could be, but he chose not to do that until I kicked him to the curb. And then all of a sudden, there's that focus, right?
Yeah.
So I know you are one of his biggest fans, and I'm not taking anything away from the talent that he has. But it's just frustrating for the fact that Christian finally decided to do something when I pushed him to the side. The only reason that Brody and I are together is because Hogg put them two together. Brody had an issue with Justin. That's what caused Christian to lose the match, because he got distracted. I had no interaction with Brody beforehand, but after the fact, I decided, well, if Hogg's going to do everything that he can I might as well get somebody on my side. Yeah. So that put us together. So everything that happens, funnels down from Hogg.
And I know you were talking about Brody, and I know you know how I feel about Brody as well.
I feel the same.
Brody is to me, my favorite big man is Bam Bam Bigelow.
Yep.
And I went on record many a times in saying that when I see Brody, I'm like, man, you're like a Bam Bam Bigelow reincarnated. You're so big, you shouldn't be doing these things, but you're doing these things. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about the gold standard, man.
Okay.
You and Brody, gold standard. Dude, you guys are like the two-man power trip, Austin and Hunter.
That's
I mean, it's like, yeah. Is that the goal? Because, like, when I think of two mega stars that are a tag team, I think of the two-man power trip, Austin and Triple H. Mm-hmm. Had all the gold. They were the team. Mm-hmm. The only team that was even on their level at that time, in my personal opinion, was the Brothers of Destruction.
Yep.
But when I look at you two, I don't think Brothers of Destruction because I personally wasn't a fan. I like Kane by himself. I like Taker by himself.
But not together.
When Hunter and Austin teamed, and the name Two Man Power Trip, that struck me. And I know you and I were talking at the last AACW event after it was over. The gold standard. Where are you guys going, man? I mean, I know where I want to see you guys go. What's the goal, man, for the gold standard? I mean, you two are the... And I'm going to go on record really quick. I'm not taking nothing away from Christian and Justin. In my personal opinion, props to them for winning the tag team championships. Props to that.
With help.
I personally thought you and Brody should have been the first AACW tag team champions.
I can agree with that.
You two together are just this, and again, I go back to the two-man power trip thing because it's so impressive to see how you two work together. And I know you've kind of taken Brody under your wing, and like you said, Brody wants to learn every day, and you're teaching him. And
there's not a lot to learn with that, but he's willing to do things that Christian wasn't. Mm-hmm. So that's the thing that I enjoy because I can talk to Brody. And he understands. He's not distracted by other things. He has a goal. I have a goal. Our goals match to take everything that's in AACW and be on our shoulders. Have this man right here have to be weighed down. That's why you have to get the strongest man in AACW to carry all the belts. Because our goal is to take the heavyweight champ, the tag champs. Sorry, Crisis. I'm sorry.
Excellence championship.
That one's got to go too. I mean, and it doesn't matter.
Is that a goal?
Yeah, honestly, to have all the belts, and all the championships, and it doesn't matter. I've been the heavyweight champ. I don't care if it's me. I don't care if it's Brody. Mm-hmm. The goal is to have. I mean, we are the best duo in AACW. Yeah. It doesn't matter if you put this guy and this guy together. If they're a tag team already, two separate guys. Brody Botkins, Travis Southern are the two best men in AACW.
Absolutely.
There is we're here, everybody else is here, and they're trying to catch up to us. That's why we are the gold standard.
And I do agree with that, man. That being said, I when you said you're up here and they're down here, I totally agree with that. With the gold standard, obviously, Brody was on the finale of season 1. You two, like I said earlier, when you two are together, like, it is just domination. I mean, I think with you, man, like I said, going back to what I said earlier, you've been brought up in many conversations with a lot of wrestlers that I've had on the show. Let's go here with the gold standard. If you had your choice, I know you mentioned Johnny. What titles would you hold and what titles would Brody hold with the tag titles? Obviously, you're going to split the tag team championship, but would you rather have the excellence? Would you rather have the work again? So you're just kind of like...
Brody, like I said, Brody and I are on the same level. It doesn't matter.
And I love that. I love the fact that you're just like, you know what? It don't matter who's...
Yeah, it's not a who's a 1, who's a 2. We're both 1, and we're both 1s.
I love that.
So if he's a champion, then fine.
And shout out Brody. But yeah, I love that. I love that answer, man, as far as like, there is no 2.
No.
You guys are both 1.
I have more experience, but Brody, there's the talent is it's hard for me to say how good he is or how good he can be, how great he can be. That's one thing I don't. It doesn't matter to me as long as as long as our group has all the titles, it doesn't matter who's holding what.
And I know you're talking about group. Let's bring this man in real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Hawaiian Hitman.
Yep.
All of a sudden, he's there. You pay him good money to do what he does.
He's worth it too.
Big man, jacked. What's your thoughts on Big Man?
Look at him. I mean, when he walks out, I mean, it's the whole Vince McMahon thing of if you see a guy walking in an airport, you're going to be intimidated by him. And just looking at him, having him come out, that's all I care about is I don't have to worry about anybody else messing with me.
Yeah.
Because I have this man watching my back.
I think of one word when I see you, Hawaiian Hitman, and Brody, and that's unstoppable. That is a dude. You're jacked. I mean, you're just big motherfucker. Like, you're good at what you do. Brody's good at what he does. You add this big motherfucker into the mix, and it's like unstoppable. Yeah. That is a force, dude. Like, I personally think I know Shane's got Hog. I know he's got his boys. But man, if I had to put my betting money down, I would put it on you guys. Like, Brody's my favorite heel.
Mm-hmm.
Bam and Bigelow influence to me. You remind me of Vader. Shit, man, fucking throw Andre the Giant here. You know what I mean? It's almost like the
Heenan family.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of what it reminds me of, man. Similar to that. It just speaking of big man, I know you're considered a big man. You move a cruiserweight. Let's go here. Who's your top 3 big man of all time? Let's start with 3 and go to 1.
Big man?
Yeah. Any era. It don't matter, dead or alive.
I mean, I've always liked. I like JBL when he was before he was JBL. When he was Bradshaw.
Justin Bradshaw.
Well, when he was the Acolytes.
So Acolytes. Okay.
Yeah, so
okay. Now, were you more Acolytes or were you more AOP?
AOP.
Okay. Yeah.
APA.
Or APA. Yeah.
Acolytes Protection Agency.
Yeah.
Yeah. So definitely like him. I liked Undertaker. I really liked him in when he was not the dead man, but when he was the badass.
Okay, the American Badass.
Yeah.
Okay,
I like that one. And then my all-time favorite performer is always going to be Mick Foley.
Okay.
So Mick Foley was the reason I actually got into wrestling.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I enjoyed him in WCW as Cactus Jack.
Yes.
I liked him.
Now, do you remember him as Cactus Jack Manson?
Yep.
Yes. See, a lot of people don't, so that's really cool.
And then and of course everything and just the fact that he could do, when he became not just the mankind deranged person, but when he got a little bit more personality and was showing more of himself, and becoming the champion, but then just being everything that he's done in his entire career was because he had a love for the business, and
he did too. Like he really did.
Yeah, and he could do anything. I mean, he could do comedy spots. He could do hardcore if he wanted. I mean, because King of the Death Matches. So, but I liked him more as just the fact that he didn't have to work if he didn't have to. As hard as you can have a match and not have to be go through 3 tables and a bunch of thumbtacks and stuff like that. You could have a match, a really good quality match, and still have comedy spots. You can still be a 5-star match.
Yeah. I mean, like the stuff like that Foley did, speaking of Foley, huge fan of Foley. Tanner actually gave me a Mankind figure earlier, and I was like, oh, I'm throwing it on the wrestling shelf, But speaking of Foley, the thing about Foley with me was, like you were saying, he didn't necessarily have to do the death matches in Japan or any of that stuff. And then I love the fact that you know him as Cactus Jack Manson as well. The thing about Foley that I loved was, like you were piggybacking off what you said, because I think of a match that he had with Shawn Michaels in your house. Yep. And you got Shawn, who is arguably the greatest performer of all time, wrestling a guy who's known for death matches. But Foley went bell to bell with Shawn, and that was Shawn in the '90s. That was Shawn in his prime. Like, Shawn was the guy at that time. So when you're going bell to bell, and I'm talking, 30-minute match,
Mm-hmm.
And I want people to understand really quick too, like, people watch wrestling and they're like, well, that's 20 minutes. Yeah, I could do that for 20 minutes. No, you couldn't. 20 minutes is 2 hours to pro wrestling.
It feels like that because you don't realize how much time you're actually in there. It feels like forever.
So now, like, when get off the subject just really quick because I know you brought it up. You being who you are, when you go 30, or hell, let's say you go 20, how long does that really feel to you in there, man? I mean, when you're in that ring and you're taking the bumps and you're hitting the mat and, 20 minutes, like, when you're watching it, as a fan like I do, it's 20 minutes. But I know firsthand that it's not the case.
No, there's a, so the theory of relativity is, when you touch a hot stove, it feels like an hour. When you're with a pretty girl, it feels like 5 minutes, 5 seconds. It's the same type of thing. I mean, you don't realize how long you're in there. It feels like it's taking you forever, and you may only have a 15, 20-minute match, but it may feel like an hour or two. I mean, just because with everything that you're doing, you're trying to make sure that you're telling a story, you're entertaining. So you're not thinking about the time frame.
Yeah.
It's everything else that goes along with it, making sure that you're paying attention to working the crowd, making sure that they stay entertained, because that's one reason we do this.
What you're really good at too, working the crowd as a heel.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, you got to have a response. I mean, I read something put on Facebook or something where baby sells T-shirts, heel sells seats. So I mean, that's my goal. Is I want people to come see me, to come boo me.
Yeah.
So I don't care if you like me. Just respect the fact that I'm one of the best damn wrestlers in the business. I may not be the most athletic, but I will entertain you. I mean, that's my goal. I don't care about doing backflips and doing flips over the ropes and stuff like that, because I'm almost 50 years old. Okay, I mean, I've been doing this for 3 decades. I'm not a young man, but I can do things.
Yeah.
I can do things in short spurts. So I mean, but I can still do things.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be the most athletic, but I'm going to be the most entertaining.
Let's go here. You said you've been doing it for 3 decades. When did you start, man? What was let me ask you a 3-part question.
Okay.
When did you start? What was your first match? And the classic saying is, you lock up with somebody, collar and elbow tie up, and it's just magic. Let's go there. When did you start your first match, and who is the one guy that when you locked up, you're just like, oh, this is going to be good?
Oh, that was an easy one. So I started in 2000. I was going through a very bad divorce, and I was in a very bad spot. And one of my friends had started wrestling, and he's like, "Hey, come to my." Actually, he was a son of a friend. He was really young, and he's like, "Hey, please come to my show. I'm doing my first wrestling match." I'm like, "Okay," because I've been a fan forever, and my brother and I used to wrestle all the time in the living room or on trampolines and stuff like that. But just having fun. I went to the show, saw a lot of short, fat guys and tall, skinny guys, and I'm thinking, "Oh shit, if they can do that, I can do this. I mean, it's not that bad." So I started talking to the gentleman that was training my friend, and he's like, "Yeah, come and train, and we'll kind of see what we can do." And very first training session I went to, he didn't have a ring, so it was basically, I'm going to teach you how to land properly and do stuff. We actually we actually trained in a high school wrestling room.
Classic mats
With the cement underneath, no padding. I mean, so he was like, "Okay, let's see what we can do." So I picked up really quickly on stuff, and you learn to take a bump on a mat the correct way. Yeah. Because that is a very good way to get.
And that's different than a bump in a ring.
Correct. Like, so when we actually got to the point where I was able to train in the ring, it came natural and stuff. So I mean, it was fine. Very first match was against my buddy. He went by Kid Wicked at the time. So this was, and at that time I was known as Justin JT Thunder.
Okay.
I am the man your mama warned you about. That's why I told all the ladies.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
Very, very bad gimmick, but that's what I started with. The man that I can do, like if I go back to all my matches I've ever had, and the one man that every time that I knew that I was wrestling him was going to be would be Troy Miller.
Troy Miller. Okay.
Yeah, so top rope Troy Miller.
So that was like the guy that like as soon as you locked up, you just knew it's gold. Hey, we got this.
My favorite match that I've ever done was against him. So
okay. Face heel.
I was face, he was heel.
Okay.
It was actually funny because storyline wise, we were a tag team, and then we won the tag titles for this federation that was running in Kokomo at the time, and he was a champion in the past, and then I ended up winning the belt, and he turned on me because he was mad, blah blah blah. And then they had a legend show that became a fiasco, and it was something that we just tried to forget. That match is by far the best match that I ever had.
So
and it's one of the cool things is that that promoter brought in a lot of other wrestlers, bigger name wrestlers. So the two legend shows that he had, my thing was that he was going to have me come out with the females, whatever valet or manager. So the first show they had, I got to come out with Sunny.
Okay.
The second one, I got to come out with Daphne.
Okay.
So that was
rest in peace, by the way.
Yeah, indeed. That was by far like and having her there, and it was very entertaining. She was being able to talk to her about stuff.
How was that with Sunny, man? Like, I mean, Bobby Donis, Tammy Lynn Sitch from ECW, like.
She was fine. It wasn't. I mean, she didn't spend a lot of time with me. It was just.
Yeah.
I mean, I was working in a battle royal, but that was because.
Was it a one-time deal?
Yeah,
like, okay.
It was just for that show. That was kind of like.
But still, like knowing that you have Sunny.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
and having her
balleting you to the ring, like that's pretty fucking badass.
Yeah, I like it.
I mean,
and that kind of stuff was fun. So, but that was when he was the gentleman that was running that promotion. Was like, okay, so I'm gonna have you. Whenever we have these shows, that's gonna be your thing. Is you're gonna come out with and so I was like, okay, that's fine.
Now speaking of Sunny, fan of ex-husband Chris Candido. Yeah. Awesome worker.
I liked him. I didn't like the body dominance.
No,
I liked
terrible.
him.
When we went to ECW, Chris Candido was.
And that's I was actually watching.
Skip. Yeah. I thought Skip was just it should have never. I get it, tag team. At that time, whatever. Which
I was actually I actually watched the match in TNA when he broke his leg. That led to the infection and everything that happened. So I mean I enjoyed him as a wrestler, but not the old 80s or 90s.
Who's your favorite ECW guy? Speaking of ECW, because I love ECW.
Van Dam.
Rob Van Dam. Okay.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So the whole fucking show.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Him and Jerry Lynn.
Yes. My go-to matches though were was it Tanaka and
Tanaka.
Mike Awesome and
Mike Awesome.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Awesome bomb. Hit it from anywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, this big son of a bitch was hitting it off the top rope through multiple tables
onto the floor.
Yeah. He awesome bomb Spike Dudley into the crowd from the ring. Yeah. Like that's a good distance to throw somebody. Like
I like those matches. But Van Dam is as an entertainer with everything that he could do. I mean, I just love and then between him and. You add Sabu into it when they were wrestling against each other. Yeah, Jerry Lynn. Yeah, all those guys.
Oh man, him and Sabu were a great tag team. I mean, I remember watching the match where Sabu ripped the bicep open, and then he literally just took trainer tape and taped his arm up and just went back to it. And like, I couldn't imagine cutting it as deep as he did on his bicep, and then he was like, "Fuck it, I'm just gonna tape it and keep going." The pain that those guys went into with ECW, because like to me ECW was a whole different genre of wrestling. But going back to RVD, your favorite ECW guy, him and Jerry Lynn brought wrestling to ECW. To me, I know there was a lot of other wrestlers, but RVD and Lynn stand out to me as being the two guys who kind of in that era of ECW push the door, because anybody can do a scaffolding match.
Yep.
Anybody can get hit by a chair. Balls Mahoney, love Balls Mahoney. Chair swinging freak.
Yep.
Anybody can get thrown on thumbtacks. But wrestling, it's poetry in motion, right?
Yep.
So when you see RVD and Jerry Lynn get in there, and they don't need chairs, they don't need thumbtacks, they don't need barbed wire. They're just like, hey, I'm just going to come in and just do a wrestling match.
Fluid as they were.
Yeah.
It was just like...
What was Lynn's nickname? Because RVD was the whole fucking show. And then Lynn, what was Lynn's? It was similar to RVD's.
Yeah,
I can't, off the top of my head, I can't think of it. And that just played into... They had a feud that went on for 3 years, 4 years. And then they went to TNA, Impact Wrestling, and they, just continued that. And I told you he was going to guest spot, he always does. But, yeah, man, like, talking about RVD, dude, it's crazy because going back on ECW, like, for me, I look back on ECW and I think of the most controversial segment, and I know Tanner and I just went and watched this here the other day, when Raven crucified the Sandman on Easter Sunday, and Paul Heyman, Paul E. Dangerously, whatever you want to call him at the time, he was like, you gotta apologize for that. That segment was just so badass. I mean, Raven took his family, storytelling wise, it was just...
Now, do you know the backstory to that too? Is Kurt Angle was actually
there and was going to sign, and then he saw it and was like, I'm out, and then WWF he went, and that was a big signee for ECW at that time, being Kurt Angle, because I know you obviously he came to WWF, WWE, and blew up. I think Paul, I think he looked at what he had, and I think Kurt Angle coming in would have been huge for wrestling. I would like to see him and Lynn. I like to see him and Mike Awesome. I thought would have been a good one. I look at guys in ECW and the Sandman and Raven. I just felt like the story. I'm gonna go on record right now, and I'm probably gonna get heat for this, and that's fine. I don't like Tommy Dreamer. I'm not a Tommy Dreamer guy. I never could.
I never got. I got it, but I didn't.
What was he, the innovator of
violence?
Yeah. What the fuck ever? Get the fuck out of here, dude. You suck. I'm sorry. And now he's ripping off Dusty Rose with the polka dots, and I'm like, get the fuck out of here, dude. Just stop, dude. Just stop.
I don't get it either. So.
I don't understand Tommy Dreamer. But speaking of ECW, I know we talked about ECW favorite wrestler. Favorite of all time. Favorite WWF/WWE.
Match?
WCW. Favorite wrestler from both promotions.
Oh, it's Foley for WWE.
Okay.
Yeah. WCW. I didn't really. I followed it. Probably. If you're talking old school, probably DDP. I like the face DDP when he was going against Raven and going against the NWO, and because
the only guy who basically didn't join NWO.
So I think I like that time frame DDP, because I know there's times when he came to WWE and he was basically they basically didn't know how to use him.
The teeth thing. I remember the teeth.
I
hated that. I don't know what they were doing.
When he was a
stalker for Taker's Sarah. Yeah, I didn't understand that either.
He was married to, right? You saw his wife at the time?
Yeah.
Kimberly Page? Yeah. Sorry, Sarah. You're not
it's not
stalking.
Yeah. Why would you stalk Sarah? You know what I mean? When I think of DDP, man, I remember growing up, I loved WWF. I did. But my dad he watched more WCW.
Yeah.
And I remember watching WCW Saturday night, 6:05 Eastern Time on TBS. You know what I mean? At the time it was Channel 15. I don't know what channel it is nowadays. But to me, what I loved about WCW was the Hollywood Blondes. I went on record many times. Them, Pillman and Austin, and Hall and Nash, I couldn't choose between them. You know what I mean? I loved the Hollywood Blondes. I thought they were great. The story of them getting together, hey, we're going to throw you guys together. Austin came from the Dangerous Alliance. Yep. And, it was really well played and really well put together. I wish they could have done more than what they did with it. But the Outsiders came in. So my question is, who would you pick in a tag team match? Hollywood Blondes or the Outsiders?
If you're talking about in the prime, the Outsiders, Hall and Nash, they were.
Remember Hall walking down? Did that not change wrestling?
Oh,
and I know I brought this up
yeah.
many times on the show, but it did.
Yeah,
like,
because people didn't know. They didn't realize.
That's Razor Ramon on WCW TV.
Yeah. When you see that guy, because just previously he was, a couple weeks, and he was on WWF television.
Yeah.
And then the next thing you know, he's coming out and he's basically talking about how we're taking over.
Yeah.
People didn't know what was going on.
Perfect too. That whole NWO angle was so well laid out with Eric Bischoff, with the whole, you got Razor Ramon, Scott Hall, then he brings in his big buddy Kevin Nash Diesel, the third man Hogan. That's Titan Tower. Like that, going back to what you said, taking over. They took over. Like, were you DX? Fan of DX?
Yeah.
Which version of DX?
I like the after Shawn Michaels.
Okay.
So I like the X-Pac and the New Age Outlaws, China, and
Hunter. Yeah.
So I like that group lineup more than I did Shawn and Triple H, just because I thought the X-Pac and New Age Outlaw adding into it was more entertaining.
Yeah, I think they went more into the degenerate aspect of things than what. I like Shawn, Hunter, China, and Rude. I thought that was a good
for the time.
For the time, yes, yeah.
But
Feud with the Heart Foundation, all that was perfect.
The problem with like the NWO is when you have 40 guys, it's hard to be. It's hard. You can't have 40 people in a group and never. Every opportunity that an underdog has to beat you, to try to because as a fan, that whoever is going against them isn't going to do anything because it's 40-on-2.
Yeah,
40-on-1.
exactly.
You can't do that.
Every week it was a damn new member, and after a while they got old. And I've always went on record and said I just think they should have stuck with the original 6 and just left it alone. It shouldn't have been. You know who, I was just thinking, speaking of NWO, you know who you remind me of, man? And I just now pinpointed it. And this is a huge compliment. Big Scott Norton. Man, I remember him and Fire and Ice. Mm-hmm. Oh my God, they were one of my favorite tag teams too in WCW. But yes, Scott Norton, you remind me so much of Big Scott Norton.
The muscles on that. So the facial maybe, but the muscles on it.
But Scott Norton, I don't know why that hit me. I was like, NWO. Let's talk about you being a heel in AACW to you wrestling in HCW as a face, the man known as Southern. What's the difference, man, being, because I watched some of your matches as a face, and then obviously I've seen you live as a heel, and two different, things. Let's talk about that. Like, how did the face come about? Was it, because obviously you said in your first match, kind of thing, or like when you locked up with certain people, you were a face in that storyline kind of thing. So, HCW, face, AACW, heel.
Yeah. So with HCW, I was actually same guy. I'm a bad guy. I was the champ up there, and I was with a manager who had a lot of influence and power and money named Tanner Lockwood, and he brought in a bunch of people. He brought in a bunch of people that. With me being champ and he's being, we were running the company basically, and I kept wrestling a gentleman named Tony Thunder, and we had a couple really good matches. We'd lose, I'd win, vice versa. Things would happen. One of the matches they had a show in Michigan, and I lost the match, and Tanner was upset with me. Well, understandable. I lost the title, but better man won that night. So we set it up as a return match, and it was going to be a submission match, and because I was that's kind of my thing, a submission, and Tanner, we had all these guys that there's no way I can lose. Well, Tony beat me, better man that night. Well, Tanner didn't like that, so he kicked me out of the group. Well, he decided to slap me in the face, and I got tired of him belittling me, and I said my 2 cents, but I had, got attacked and hit the head of the crowbar, which I recommend don't do because it's very painful. And then that kind of changed my way of thinking in ACW. So I'm actually now, I have a friend that comes with me named Justice. It's a barbed wire bat, and she protects me like this guy does in AACW. And right now I'm just I'm protecting the little guys up there. So it's an entirely different. I can play both sides. So for ACW, it's just the fact that I don't need to be the person that I am in AACW. So
are you more? I gotta ask because I know it's hard playing different roles and stuff. When you're a heel, obviously being a heel is easy. You know what I mean? Where would you put being a face at? Is it, because you want people to like you. It's harder to get people to like you than it is people to hate you, right?
You can't force being a face. It has to be natural. And luckily, I had the opportunity to have heels that people didn't like. So and actually Christian Cash actually had a part in that too, because he was part of that group up there where he was a bad guy, and he wanted to run his mouth, and I got my opportunity to get back at him again. So so he helped me helped me become a better face up there, a better good guy. So and it just seems to work out. I'm kind of like I'm kind of the way that they kind of have me positioned there. I'm kind of like the Crow Sting, where I just kind of show up, and if somebody's getting beat up or somebody's getting ragged on, it's like I come down and help them out. So I just even out and stuff.
Is that a hard role as far as like
No, it's fun.
It's just
fun.
fun.
I like again. It's I'm performing, so for me it doesn't matter, But if I'm in that character or if I'm in Travis in AACW, so they're two different roles.
What do you have more fun with?
I like being Travis. Man Called Southern is different because it's I get to do different things that I don't normally get to. So for me, I honestly like playing both. So I mean, I feel like I can do them both well.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's not, I don't have to be pigeonholed into one, and because they're two different companies, they're not gonna meet.
Exactly.
It's not gonna be like I'm gonna be like
Because I know watching some of your HCW matches the other night during the Chicago Bulls game on halftime, I was doing some stuff on you, and your persona as a face, the way you do it, it's you're two different people.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's really weird to because I was telling you earlier on my deck, I've only known you as Travis Southern as a heel, and then I see these matches of you as a face, and I'm like, and you just don't you changed everything up.
Yeah.
I mean, different wrestling style in a way, different persona. Everything's different. So would you say that being a heel is easier?
For sure.
Is that the classic? Because it's easier to get people to hate you.
You can. It's easier to make people hate you than it is to make people love you.
Yeah.
Because you have to. I mean, if you're gonna get somebody to love you, you have to do something to earn that love. I can kick a puppy and people aren't gonna like me.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's easy to do something which I would never do. I'm just out there.
Do you pick someone out of the crowd each night? Is it simple as a heel to be like, I'm gonna fuck with this person. I want the heat from
if you are vocal, I will make sure to point you out, and I will make sure to be vocal back to you. So if you want to be part of the show, be vocal to me, because I will definitely be vocal back to you. That is the easiest thing. If you're just sitting there and you're just enjoying, you're watching the show.
You're just watching the show.
I'm not gonna, why would I mess
drinking
with
your
you?
beer, eating your popcorn.
Why would I mess with you? But if you want to be like, hey, you suck, okay, well.
Then you're gonna see, and I just think being a heel, man, I feel like being a heel would be more fun because you get to fuck with people, man. And you know what I mean? And not a lot of people understand that as being a heel. So, big man, are you teaching I mean, obviously this dude, like, I mean,
What a lot of people don't
you're
understand.
jacked, man.
You know,
And like, when I see this dude come out, I'm just like,
the Hawaiian
Like-
Hitman is not a gimmick.
yeah,
I mean, he has a back. I mean, he has a history that has nothing to do with wrestling.
Mhm.
So he is from Hawaii. He has stuff happening that I don't want to go into because that's his thing. But that's not a gimmick. I mean, he is a bad man.
yeah,
And I don't have to teach him. Now, I might have to teach him to not seriously hurt people, but he likes to hurt people on his own. I don't have to teach him anything.
Yeah.
It's just like I might have to teach him control at the levels. Oh, okay. He doesn't want to have to kill you, so I'm not gonna. The less you know, the better. Just
gotcha.
But I don't have to. The control is the biggest thing for him. So just with the, getting into the ring and stuff like that is, here's where you are.
Mm-hmm.
Bring it down to here to where they may go to the hospital, but they're not going to stay. in the
Gotcha.
hospital.
Okay, so it's kind of like, do what you do, just
Yeah, bring it down a notch.
bring it
to
down to
or
instead
three
of being
or four.
11 or 3
Yeah,
or 4,
yeah.
maybe 6. Just
Yeah, just turn it down a little bit.
Just jack,
Yeah.
just jack motherfucker. Like,
I know.
I love when you brought him in. When he first came out and I saw him with you, instantly I was like, yes, that is the chemistry that you and Brody have. I feel like you have with him.
Mhm.
And when I first seen him debut and he come out, and I was just like, that is what Southern needed right there. Like, you weren't stale, you weren't boring, none of that, never were. But bringing him in, I felt like, damn, like this shit just got turned to an 11. Like, you know what I mean? Because like I was saying earlier, man, like you are good at what you do. Obviously, you said, being a heel is easier.
Yeah.
Because like you said, it's easier to have make people hate you than it is make people love you. Let's do this. Cheers real quick.
Yep.
Gentlemen. Big man. I know being a face, being a heel. So let's go here. What is your top 3 favorite face, and what are your top 3 favorite heels? Any company, doesn't matter. Past, present, dead, alive, whatever.
Well,
Going off you. That's what I want.
me personally.
Yeah, like who you connected with, like what 3 faces when you heard the theme music, you seen them come out, like you're like, I'm drawn to them. What 3 heels did the same thing?
Well, I mean, RVD.
Yeah.
Currently, Hangman Page. I love
Cowboy shit, man.
Oh yeah. AEW.
Too sweet to
Oh
that.
yeah. Man.
Like,
I love. Yeah, I love. Well, Hangman. Just the whole. When he started doing the cowboy shit stuff. You drinking and he's just he's just enjoying himself.
Yep.
Love that.
Having fun.
And then of course Foley. I'm always gonna go back. That's always gonna be my number one guy. Heels. I love Triple H as a heel.
Good.
And because he could work pretty much any match, any type of match, and people get down on him because he's, in bed with McMahon and stuff. But he was still a good worker before that.
Yeah. What was the Thunder Rising WCW? I remember watching a match of his on Saturday night as Thunder Rising, and then all of a sudden
Rising, with the
Rising, and then all of a sudden he's on WWF, WWE TV as Hunter Hearst Helmsley. 2 completely different characters too. Like, to see where Hunter. Let's talk about Hunter really quick. I know you brought him up. DX, obviously. Man, Hunter Hearst Helmsley, that character, to the game. I love that. I love the transition.
The cerebral assassin.
Yes.
Yeah,
the King of Kings.
Yep.
I mean, I had a friend the other day bring up to me, and I don't know the truth behind King of Kings, but when you think about the name King of Kings, at that time, obviously, Hunter was part of the Clique, obviously, behind the scenes, Sean and Hall and Nash and Kid. At that time, Sean was gone. Austin was gone. a lot of your big kings were gone. And Rock was gone. You know, there was Taker, there was Hunter, and then all of a sudden he's the king of kings.
Yep.
I had a friend talk to me the other day, and he was like, man, did you ever stop and think maybe the reason that he's the king of kings is because the kings all left and he's the last one standing, and look where he started and look where he's at. And I'm like, man, I never really thought about it that way, because Shawn was gone, Austin was gone, Rock was gone, Hogan was gone, like, last man standing. And point being this, like I said, because I know you brought up Hunter, I do look at you guys, man, legitimately as the two-man power trip. Like, but yeah, let's go back to, okay, so you said Hunter as your heel. Let's go your other two.
ECW Raven.
Yes, my dude. Yes.
And then Jericho.
Yes. Let's go here. Let's do this. Because you brought up Jericho, the GOAT. Yes, he is. I've asked this question a lot on the show, off the show, talking wrestling. I talk wrestling all the time. My wife loves it. All my friends love it. We are a wrestling family. Ric Flair is the GOAT. Shawn Michaels is the greatest in-ring performer of all time. Agree?
I mean, for entertaining and wrestling, yes.
Yeah.
So I mean, with everything that Jericho has done, he has to be up there. I mean, he has done.
They brought him right in with The Rock. You know, first segment was with The Rock.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you're putting money on the guy from WCW.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, but he can wrestle with the cruiserweight. He can wrestle with the heavyweights. He can wrestle heel. He can wrestle face. He can wrestle everybody. But he's more entertaining as a heel than he is as a face.
Yeah.
So that's why of course I would.
I mean, just getting things over. Like, I remember watching a couple interviews, you know, the other day, and you know, he was talking about the click of the pin.
Yeah.
You know, the crowd wanted that. He would bring it up, and they're like,
and everybody would go nuts.
They're just silent, and then it's like, you just made the list.
Yeah.
That's Jericho though. Like Jericho, but I will say this: in your opinion, not mine, but in your opinion, who's better than Shawn? Besides Flair. Is there anybody in ring that is better than the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels?
Other than Flair, probably. I mean, there are people that are on the same level.
Yeah.
But yeah, Shawn. I mean,
better, So you agree that Shawn just?
Yeah, because Shawn could work with anybody, and he was very entertaining. So yeah.
The thing with Shawn was, I remember being a kid, and I know, shout out to Ryan DeVille. I know him and I, man, in our little group, the Click, we loved, shout out by the way, we loved Shawn. Shawn, man, I don't know what it was about Shawn that, I don't know if it was like the sexy boy thing, or all the women wanted him, or the dangly earrings, or the flamboyantness, whatever it was. Shawn to me will just always be Shawn. Like I remember being in B-Dubs here in town, and we were watching WrestleMania 25, and it was Shawn Taker for the first time at Mania.
Yep.
And I remember coming out of my seat because every time that a pin happened from Shawn to Taker, I was like, that match will always be special in my heart, because that was the first time that the streak to me was legitimately in jeopardy.
Yep.
I thought, like, you know, going back to Hell in a Cell, Shawn, you know, first ever, you know, see, the nice thing about Shawn, he was in all the first.
Ladder matches, Hell in a Cell, yep.
Elimination Chamber.
Yep.
You know, them god-awful brown, ugly-ass tights that weren't finished. I don't know what the fuck he was thinking with brown, but Shawn Michaels, whatever, you know, but I remember watching WrestleMania 25 at B-Dubs, and we were drinking and eating food, and I just remember popping every time Shawn pinned Taker, because that was the first. I wish, I'm not bashing WWF, WWE, I'm not, but I wish they could go back to that feeling that I had that night with that match. Give me more of that. That was so real, because for the first time ever, I thought, he's taking the streak. Shawn's beating him. Like, he's beat Taker in everything. You know what I mean? Casket matches, Hell in a Cells, whatever, like cage matches. He's done it all. Sean's taken it, and then he didn't. Taker, Sean 2, Mania 26.
You didn't have the same.
No,
Yeah.
no. Too many finishers. It was just choke slams, super kicks, sweet chin music, whatever you want to call it. It was just too much. Like I felt what they did at Mania 25. When I think of WrestleMania, like I think of that match. I think of, and then again, I got to go back to Shawn. I think of Shawn and Bret Hart, Iron Man match.
Yep.
Boyhood dream became reality, man. Like, let's talk about that. Obviously, you watched the match.
Of course.
Who are you rooting for?
Well, at
First ever Iron Man in WWF.
At that time, now, as a performer now, I wish there had been more falls. I wish it had been more than an overtime 0-0 going into overtime next. I wish it would have been. I wish it would have been to where it would have highlighted more of, okay, so yeah, I beat you, I pinned you, and you pinned me, or I submitted you.
Yeah.
I wish I would have seen that more than, they wrestled into a time limit. The time limit's done. There's no points. Nobody then had to do the overtime. I get it at the time, and I was like, Bret Hart keeps it because he outlasted it, and the Gorilla comes out and says, no, somebody's got
sudden death, like
which
next
is
pinfall
fine.
Wins, like
at that
Sean
time,
survived the sharpshooter for damn near a minute.
For that amount, for at the time when I watched that match, I was rooting for Sean.
Yeah.
So, but Bret Hart's real. I mean, how.
And that's the thing too, like surviving that sharpshooter, going into, to my personal opinion, one of the I could name a top 5, my all-time top 5 greatest matches, and obviously, it's actually kind of weird. Like Sean's in most of them, but again, I think it just goes back to Sean being Sean. Like he was so good at what he did. He could perform with anybody. It didn't matter if they were big, small, whatever. He could just go.
Yeah.
Him and Jericho at Mania was awesome. Jericho, they gave the hug, low bloating, classic Jericho. Like, love that. But when going back to the Iron Man match, I think for me, I wanted Sean. Like, I love Bret Hart. Bret Hart's one of my favorite wrestlers of all. He's in my top 10, top 5 actually. But that match with Sean, like, I know you said, like, you wish there would have been some falls here and there.
Yeah.
Like, man, I respectfully disagree because I think the way they did it, like, they literally, because, I mean, when you think Iron Man, okay, I'm going to go 60 minutes, and that's a long fucking time, like, to take bumps and shit, When I seen Sean and the sharpshooter at the end, and the crowd was reacting the way they were, and they were just counting the seconds down, and I'm like, don't tap.
But that finish could have still happened, even if they had 2 pins apiece.
I think the finish was crap.
The way
I didn't like the finish.
Yeah.
The sudden death finish was bullshit.
Yeah.
I didn't like that. Sean deserved better.
I'm
If you're
talking
gonna
about,
pass the title, like
but what I'm talking about is what you loved about it. That could have still been done with 2 and 2 or 1 and 1. It just even if you were
let
able to
Brett
say
submitting with the sharpshooter.
Yes.
Let Sean win with the sweet chin music.
And
1-1 or whatever.
So because it's still getting them. Each of them is still getting something where they can go, okay, 1-1. I got you the sharpshooter. I got you with the sweet chin.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay? And then it times out, and they're like, okay, and then they do whatever.
Sudden death or whatever.
But the finish where he's in the sharpshooter and then the time's out, and he doesn't submit.
Yeah.
That's still gonna happen.
Yeah, because
that's the only thing I was saying. I wanted that. Going back and forth is fine.
Yeah.
But still that give the fans something to be excited about. So you're a Hart fan, you're a Shawn Michaels fan. Each of you got a pin. Okay, great. You got to see that.
Yes.
You didn't get to see that.
You didn't.
No. So that's
what. And really, what was that like? The first technically Iron Man match of WWF.
Well,
for that
for
federation, I think you know what I mean. But man, I remember going into that match, and I remember being like, oh shit, I was probably like 12, 13 years old watching that, and I remember Sean just. I didn't like the ending. It was cool that I love that Sean got it. I just didn't like the fact that here's Brett halfway up the aisle with the title. Gorilla Monsoon's hey, we're gonna restart the match, kind of thing, blah blah. And then Sean his super kick, sweet chin music, whatever you want to call it. rolls him up with that classic. I mean, when he rolled him up. Like, I mean, Sean, like, put everything into that pin. Like, I was like, okay, here we go. But speaking of that, I want to go into this. Feuds. Speaking of Sean and Brett, arguably one of the best feuds. I mean, I remember because of the screw job. Mm-hmm. It didn't matter if Sean was DX or not. I remember Triple H getting cheered and Sean was getting booed. He goes to Canada, he's just booed. They just don't like Sean. What's your favorite feud you've ever had, man? Like,
with personally with Troy Miller.
Yeah.
I mean, everything that I've done in wrestling, everything that I've done where I look back on something, Troy Miller's involved somewhere or another. So,
okay.
Troy, I love you. Awesome DJ. If you need anybody, that's what he's doing now. Definitely look him up because he is amazing. But between working as a team, working against each other, every great match that I've ever had, top 10 or top 5 or whatever, he's in 90% of them. I mean, I might have a one-off with, where I had a really good match with somebody else, but Troy Miller is, feud-wise, with everything I've done in different companies and stuff, it's definitely Troy Miller.
Now, with you being in multiple companies, because obviously you are, what's your end goal, man?
Just have fun.
Just have fun?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I've done a lot in the business. Not as much as some, better than others. I feel like I'm reliable. If you want something from me, I'm not going to be, bless you, I'm not going to be one of those guys that, I have to have a title on me to be able to perform because I can't get over.
See, and you don't seem like that guy. Like,
No.
you don't seem like the guy, like, when I first met you, you were a world champion. Mm-hmm. And when we put this episode together, you were still world champion. But man, that's the thing about you. Like, you don't need the title.
No.
Like, you don't. Like, I feel like some people, it goes back to that old saying, I feel like some people need the championship to
validate themselves,
push themselves. You know what I mean? And I just feel like you don't, man. I feel like you've done so much, and you've done what you've done in your career. Because like I said, you've done it for 30 plus years. Obviously you want to hold the world title again, but let's go back to this. Being world champion, I held that title. That motherfucker's heavy. That's about 15 pounds. You know what I mean? Of gold.
Yeah.
You carry that title very well.
Well, I had enough experience with it.
Please tell me you took that motherfucker everywhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, now, were you the guy that was going to go to, let's say you're AACW world champion, are you going to be the guy like Flair and take the title somewhere else? No.
It's the respect.
Respect. Okay. Now, I was going to ask,
if it was the same situation where they're not going to pay me, but the owners of both, all the companies I work for, they pay me. So why would I disrespect the title?
Gotcha.
There's no reason to do that. So
yeah.
I'm now if they like Shane, when I was the champion, if he said, "Hey, go promote my company,"
cross promotion,
but I'm never going to disrespect one company for another company because if I'm working for this company, they're paying me to work at this company, and I'm going to do everything I can to do that. Same way with this other company. Third company, fourth company, wherever I'm at, I'm focused on promoting that company and working for that company. So I wouldn't, me personally, I wouldn't do anything like that.
No, so like it wouldn't be like the Flair thing.
Yeah, because that was a lot of built up stuff, and you're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
If you're talking that amount of money, just for the record, I don't make that kind of money, and. Sorry, Shane, but you don't pay me $100,000 worth to be able to do that. So, but if you did, I would do a lot more for you. So, but yeah, no, that I would never do anything like that.
Yeah, being the world champion, going back to being the world champion. Like I said, I held the title when Rick Vidal. Shout out to Rick Vidal, new world champion. When I held the title and I put it on my shoulder, I was like, man, that's a heavy ass championship. Beautiful championship too. Beautiful championship. Very classic. I like classy championships. WWE right now, titles trash. I'm sorry, those are joke titles.
Yeah.
Should have never changed the Intercontinental Championship. Looks garbage, you know, whatever. Looks good on Nakamura. But nobody else. I just don't like. I like the classic. I remember when Sean, bringing back Sean up. I remember him coming in with the baby blue Intercontinental Championship. Badass. Gold does have the gold. You know what I mean? Very cool title. Speaking of the Intercontinental Championship, to me that's Sean's title. That's Brett's title. That's Cody Rhodes. That's that's the
Ramon.
Razor Ramon's call. Oh man, I mean that's their title. Like, what's the what title for you in any company? Because obviously WCW had the United States Championship.
United States Championship is my favorate title belt.
Yeah, the United States Championship. WCW's.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, because I just was not a fan of WWE's, especially the new title, just garbage.
I work for a company called MPW up in Bourbon area, that area, and that was back in the day. But their United States Championship, I was multi-time. That was my favorite title to hold. So
remember the Television Championship?
Yeah.
I love that title. As a kid, the Television Championship was just Booker T held it. You know what I mean? He was a very good television champion. Austin, television championship was really cool. I want to segue into, speaking of television championship, a title that I hoped for in the company. We got it, but we didn't get what I personally wanted. Let's go AEW.
Yep.
Obviously, you watch AEW programming. Let's talk about this. Biggest return in professional wrestling history. CM Punk. Where are you at with CM Punk?
I'm glad he's back.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a...
Do you believe he shit the bed, as Eric Bischoff said he did? No.
Eric Bischoff is allowed his opinion, which is fine.
Absolutely. But everybody is.
Yeah, but when you get the response that CM Punk gets,
they sing his damn song nowadays. Like,
how can you say you shit the bed because he didn't come back? I mean, he works 1 or 2 nights a week. He doesn't
mid-card guys.
Yeah, he doesn't have to.
He's not going after Kenny.
Yeah,
like, you know what I mean? He's not in the title picture.
Saying, I want a title shot because I'm the best in the world. He can come in and he can work at Darby Allin. He can work, Powerhouse Hobbs. I mean, he can work anybody, and if he wants
him and Fish. Oh my God, I'm a huge Bobby Fish fan because I love Red Dragon with Kyle O'Reilly, and oh my God, that match was just phenomenal. Like 5-star in my personal opinion. Like
CM
awesome.
Punk has earned the right to work how he wants to work, and it doesn't matter anybody else's opinion. If he's happy doing what he's doing, I'm just glad he's back in wrestling.
Yeah, same.
Why would you complain about somebody that's been out for years and then say, well, he shit the bed coming back in? Okay, for why? I mean, that's your opinion, which everybody has one,
absolutely,
and that's fine. There's no reason to be mad because he's not doing what you think he should do.
Yeah. Well, I think the thing with Punk is Punk's my all-time favorite wrestler. I don't know what it was about Punk that I got drawn to in Ring of Honor. That's when I started paying attention to Punk. I got really into Ring of Honor, and I started watching Punk and Samoa Joe, another great wrestler in my opinion. Big man who can do things that just that size you shouldn't be doing these things, but you're doing them. When Punk met AJ Styles, they both won one. So you got Punk with one and Styles with one. When I've had a lot of friends ask me what dream matches do you have. It's weird because actually Punk's in majority of them. And then now that he's in AEW, I think a lot of these matches that I have can become reality. What dream matches you got, man? Past, present, dead, alive?
Like watching or me working somebody personally?
Watching.
Oh,
like
watching?
Who's someone that well, yeah, let's go ahead and go there too. Let's go with dream matches of you wanting to watch it, and then let's go with your dream matches of who you want to work with.
Watching wise, I'm a big AEW. I'm an AEW fan. So personally,
better than WWE right now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Sorry, WWE. Sorry, Vince.
Yeah. It's just not. It's not.
You got a shitty product.
You guys are entertainment, and AEW.
And this is wrestling.
Yeah, AEW.
It's different.
AEW
man.
can do both and make it worthwhile.
Yeah.
I mean, I love Christian, so I'm glad that he's in AEW. Foley and Moxley would be with Cactus Jack when he was the king of the death matches back in the day. If I was going to do a dream match, it would be those two.
Mox
I
and
think
Cactus,
those two could put a really good match together.
Yeah.
I like. Hangman Page. I love Hangman Page.
Mm-hmm.
I love so pretty much. I mean, him and Triple H would have been. Would be a really good one. Just if you're talking.
I agree with that. Yeah.
Yes. Styles going against each other. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
MJF. Put him. Could you imagine putting him?
Oh my God, MJF
against. Even put him with any other kind of talker. Anybody else that could talk.
I'm looking forward to Punk.
Yes.
I think the mic skills alone, pipe bombs and MJF's pipe bombs. Oh my God, I think that would sell tickets alone.
If you put those two together, and that's why I said they have a lot more freedom in AEW to be able to do things, and it's more entertaining.
Yeah.
Why would you not want to work for a company that says, okay, try this. See if it doesn't work, okay.
Yeah.
With instead of here, this is what you're going to say. You have to say it just like this, and if you don't say it like that, then we're done.
And what I hate right now about WWE is Piper Niven. Love Piper Niven. Dewdrop.
Yeah.
Oh my God, such a great worker. Excalibur's wife now officially. Great worker. Piper is. Oh my God. Why? What's with the dancing and stuff? Just let her go in. She reminds me of Awesome Kong. I was a huge fan of Awesome Kong. Awesome Kong, implant buster finisher. Finish was just always phenomenal. Hit it every time. The thing about AEW for me versus WWE is, and again, I don't book. You know what I mean? I'm not an owner of anything. But as a fan standpoint, AEW, I watch that more than I do WWE TV nowadays because, like you said earlier, you made a good point. You can be entertaining, but still be professional wrestling.
Yeah.
And I would rather, and that's another thing that I don't like about WWE. And sorry, Vince, I don't like WWE superstar. You're not a wrestler. You can't use that word wrestler or wrestling. But then you look at a company, and I hated, Triple H. Obviously, we talked about Hunter earlier. He made the comment during the Hall of Fame, Vince is going to buy that piss ant company, is what he said. Well, that piss ant company is kicking your company's ass because a true professional wrestling fan is going to want to watch Bobby Fish versus CM Punk in a 20-minute bout, then watch whatever match you're putting on over here. And I feel like I feel like Vince is trying to play off of AEW a little bit lately. Like he's trying to.
They're playing catch up.
Yeah.
But the problem with
you shouldn't be playing catch up.
But the problem with WWE is when they did the brand split. Well, first of all, when you have to have the same match 5 weeks in a row.
Oh my God, I know, right?
It's like like if I'm watching.
How many pay-per-view matches do you have to watch the same match?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, but even on Monday Night Raw, how many times have I flipped over and saw Orton and somebody or Riddle and somebody, and it's the same match. Everyone like, oh, they're doing this now, and it's a rematch from last. Okay, but they do it for 5 weeks in a row. That is not entertaining.
And not to mention that they use so much of their, like Raw's 3 hours, SmackDown is 2. They use 5 hours of TV time, and they use damn near an hour and a half of catch up of stuff you've done seen. Like you start your show off and see, and that's what I love about BTE being the elite on YouTube. Their series, they use the storyline on there, which saves TV time for Dynamite and Rampage, to where they don't have to use these clips and build these stories.
And they can get other wrestlers over because you're giving them the opportunity to be in front of people. Instead of saying, oh, well, we're going to do a 20-minute talk, and we're going to talk about what we did last week Oh, well, you did. Yeah, well, you give other people an opportunity.
After a while, it just gets old, man. Like, and I think that's like being like a pro wrestling fan, which I am. Like, because I said, man, I grew up with it. I've been watching it since I was 3-4 years old. You know what I mean? Like, I hate how AEW is considered WCW, and I hate what. Well, that aside, what I really hate is they say, oh well, AEW is basically getting all these WWE guys.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they're going to bury their talent. No. Look at their champions. All AEW originals. Kenny Omega, AEW original. Britt Baker, AEW original. You know, titles go on. Like, there is no... Miro, Rusev was the only WWE guy, technically. Well, besides Jericho. But, hell, he went and did Japan Painmaker with Okada, you know what I mean? And became the Painmaker, the Rainmaker thing.
With being the TNT champions and Darby Allin, you know.
And like I going back to what I was saying earlier about the TNT championship, I loved how we got the television championship, but it's the TNT championship.
And they'll have the TBS one for the women.
Yep. Huge fan of the television title because I remember watching WCW Saturday Night, and you always got a title match. Yep. And I think that is something that AEW has kind of brought back. You know, obviously Cody, you know, his dad Dusty, being a big time promoter for multiple territories, and then obviously WCW. One of my favorite segments right now with AEW that's really got me intrigued, Malachi Black, Tommy End, huge Tommy End fan. Loved him and Chris Hero as a tag team. They were just, they were good. But I love Malachi Black. Feud with Cody, obviously. A lot of fans will, you know, they'll sit there and they'll say, well, you know, Cody won the feud. No, Cody didn't win the feud. They had 3 matches. Tommy beat him twice. You get a win. You didn't win the feud, dude. You didn't win the feud. Yeah, you won the battle. You didn't win the war. Malachi destroyed your entire Nightmare family. Let's talk about Cody Rhodes, his dad, Dusty. Cody Rhodes fan?
Bigger Dusty fan.
Yeah, me too. Dustin, to me, is better than Cody.
Yes.
In my personal opinion. The Natural. He was one of my all-time favorite wrestlers. There was a time where I did lose interest in wrestling. I was in a band. I was touring a lot. I couldn't, you know, watch a lot of it.
Yeah.
Lost interest when I did catch up on some stuff. I'm like, I don't really like that. I don't really like that. Bullet Club, actually, and I've been on record many times. Bullet Club actually saved wrestling for me because I remember seeing this logo, and I was like, what the hell is this logo? I see this everywhere all of a sudden. Bullet Club, what the hell's Bullet Club? And then I figure out what Bullet Club is. And I'm like, man, look at the talent. These guys are world-class athletes. Bullet Club, when they say they run the wrestling world, they literally run the wrestling world. They're in every major promotion.
Yep.
So I'll ask you this. Speaking of Bullet Club, Kenny Omega, best wrestler in the world. Best bout machine. 90 plus minutes with Okada in Japan. Twice. Him and Punk. Who you got? The best in the world, CM Punk, versus the best bout machine, Kenny Omega.
Are you talking CM in his prime? Are you talking CM now?
Prime.
I would go
Kenny
with Punk.
now and Punk.
I would go with Punk.
Punk?
Yeah. In prime.
In prime.
Yeah.
Now Punk now, obviously, you know, pushing his age. Yeah, Kenny. Like, because I think the thing I love about Kenny is the longer the matches go, it favors Kenny because he's used to, like I said, you know, Okada. A lot of people, you know, New Japan Pro Wrestling. I love Japan wrestling. You know, Bullet Club come from that. Made me a huge fan of wrestling again. I love Japan wrestling. Kenny. When Kenny started going 90 plus minutes, I think the longer the matches go, they favor Kenny because he's so used to, you know, 90 plus minutes with Okada. And Okada, you know, a lot of people, they're like, oh, he's the Japanese John Cena. I don't give a shit. Okada is a badass.
He's still a good worker.
Okada gets in the ring and Okada does what he does. And when when him and the Kenny storyline brings me back to Sean and Brett, love story in wrestling, you know what I mean? It just worked. Yeah. But my wife actually asked me here the other night. She said, "I know CM Punk's your favorite wrestler, and I know Kenny Omega is your favorite wrestler. Who you got when they face off?" And I was like, you would do this shit to me. I gotta go Kenny.
Now.
Kenny now, yeah. Punk in 2010, 2012. Ring of Honor Punk versus Kenny now. I don't.
That'd be a toss.
I don't know, man. Like that's hard to answer that question. Like even to myself, I'm like I don't know. But I know we spoke briefly on Flair and Sean, and then obviously bringing Kenny and Punk into a best in the world, best bout machine. They both obviously stand up to their monikers. Best in the world to you, all time, yeah. Mine is obviously Flair and Sean, but
I mean, if you're talking about somebody that I enjoyed, that I would drop everything to watch a match for, it's going to be Foley. I mean that's just because that's my opinion. Yeah. Because I just like and Mick Foley, just kind of let you know, you are face heel. I mean, I everything that I do in wrestling is because of you, which is scary, but I just want to let you know that you are on my Mount Rushmore, just because of all of your accomplishments. You weren't the best of everything, but you were really good at a lot of stuff. Yeah, I mean that's kind of like how I feel like now is I play two characters. I'm me. I mean, outside of wrestling, I have my own persona and I am my own person. But when I'm in wrestling, I can be different people. Yeah. So that's kind of
What was your favorite Foley persona? Cactus Jack Manson, Cactus Jack, because that was two different characters. A lot of people don't understand that. Cactus Jack Manson and Cactus Jack were different. Yeah, I mean, two different characters. Dude loved Mankind, Mick Foley,
I actually liked end of his career, Cactus Jack. Okay. When he was wrestling Triple H, when he went from
Madison Square Garden,
when he went from where he got fired, from the company, and then they were making fun of him with Midian, was dressing around being the fake Foley and stuff, and then him coming from Mankind going to Cactus Jack, and then I really enjoyed Commissioner Foley. So Commissioner Foley, when he needed to be
had his own little office.
Oh yeah, when he needed
random offices.
When he needed to be serious, he was. I mean, you knew he was being serious. I mean, there's a certain attitude that if he wanted to make sure you knew that he was. This is how it's going to be. That's how. But any other time, he's like, getting the cheap pops. Yeah. Right here in Fort Wayne.
And he even he even made that clear, like getting the cheap pop.
Oh yeah. How can you?
That was his stick there for a while.
How can you not enjoy when you have the ability to go out and say the name of a city that you're at, and everybody loses it, and they just go crazy, and you can just see him being all. I mean, how could you go wrong?
Yeah. And then the whole Rock and Sock connection. Loved Rock and Sock connection. I mean, had the matching jackets. Rock even had his own Socko.
This is your life.
Oh my God, dude! What was the clown they brought? You know what I mean? They brought in his school, his coach, his girlfriend, everything. So I think the thing with Foley is when people talk about the goats of wrestling, and I know you mentioned Mount Rushmore, so let's talk about that. I know I got my Mount Rushmore of pro wrestling. Obviously, Foley is on your Mount Rushmore. Who's your other three?
Flair. I mean, just for longevity and everything he's done in his career.
It's Flair.
Rock. And Jericho. Those are my favorite. I mean, just because they've all been able to do different things in wrestling that have been innovation. Now I know you're big on Shawn Michaels, which if there was a fifth one, he would probably he's definitely in my top five. Yeah. But I mean, I'm not a Hogan fan. Hogan was a product of the company that he worked for at the time. That's the only reason he got. I feel like that he was.
I was more of a Hogan. I went on record and said this many times. I was more Savage over Hogan. I was more Warrior than Hogan. Now I respected Hulkamania and I liked Hulkamania, all that.
But it was a product of the company.
But man, when he turned NWO. Oh, I was a Hogan fan, huge. Oh yeah. Oh, I mean that was to me that was no.
Yeah,
never seen
because that you
closest you got was Thunder Lips and Rocky.
Yeah, but when you see somebody for 15 years being the same character and there's take your vitamins and say your prayers and all those other stuff, and then he turns into the biggest heel.
Only wrestler to ever have trash thrown at him at that time period
Oh.
because I mean when he dropped the leg drop on Savage,
Yeah, I mean, but
thumbs up to Hall and Nash.
How could you not at least be intrigued?
And then his classic line, "These fans can stick it."
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I was like, 14th, 15th time, I'm like, holy shit, he just told the fans to stick it. Because like you said, you see this product, because that's what he was. He was a product.
Mm-hmm.
You've seen this product thrown in your face for years. They repeated that with Cena. But Hogan was, pushed down your throat.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, red and yellow is gone, man, black and white. And he was just like, you fans can stick it, brother. Like, you went, you had the biggest icon in professional wrestling, possibly, besides Flair.
At the time.
Yeah. To NWO, Hogan, I mean, the black beard and the mustache. I mean, everything he did, he changed. Like, it was so abrupt, and it was just the greatest heel turn, in my personal opinion, in wrestling history. I don't think there's a bigger moment for a face to go heel, than what Hogan did. And,
That worked. That
worked.
Because
and that's the thing. It worked
because
so
you can't
well.
count, like Austin's heel turn was failed. But they felt like they owed it to him because he wanted to try it. And it didn't work because fans did not want to turn on him. But Hogan, they did.
Yeah.
Because they were so sick of him being the fan. Oh, God.
Well, I mean, look at him in WCW. I mean, they were booing Hogan.
Yeah.
I mean, as red and yellow, they were like, "We're tired of this guy. We don't want this guy no more." And then
he knew that the NWO was going to be huge, so he hitched his wagon to it, which was smart.
Yeah. Which it was like, and that's what going back to what I said earlier about the original 6 of the NWO. In my personal opinion, it should have just been Hogan, Hall, Nash, because WWF guys. Ted DiBiase, WWF guy. Vincent, WWF guy. The Kid, 6, WWF guy. It should have just stayed there. Now, when they added the Giant, I was cool with that.
That's
because,
where I think they should have stopped.
Yeah, they could Giant, and then it should have just been that 7. That 7 would have been because 6 was 6 because he's the 6th member, and then add in your biggest WCW guy at that time with that group.
Because at the time he was Andre the Giant Son.
Yeah,
That's what they were.
Exactly.
That's
So
what they were
and then
planning
Hogan and Andre had their thing, slammed Andre. I think bringing the Giant in was really cool, but they should have stopped there.
Yeah,
I think
totally.
it should have just been that group, and that's what it should have been. I'm gonna take the shot really quick, gentlemen.
Yep.
And then got a couple more questions for you. We're gonna wrap this up here. Cheers, gentlemen. I know we were talking obviously about Hogan. Let's go to DX NWO. Your version of DX, because you said you like the Kid and the Outlaws and stuff like that. Let's say Survivor Series match, because obviously you got a Survivor Series match coming up. So let's say you got Hunter, you got Chyna. Let's go ahead and throw her in there, because I mean she wrestled the men.
Yep.
You got New Age Outlaws, and you got Kid.
Yep.
NWO, Hall, Nash. Let's go Hogan. Let's go Vincent, because I feel like Virgil just didn't get enough credit. And then let's go Giant. Who you got?
For personally, I mean, more than likely, the NWO would go over, but I would personally rather have. I didn't see DX.
DX.
Personally. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just. I mean,
Were you more DX or more NWO?
DX?
DX, yeah.
NWO was cool for what it was. I actually liked NWO Wolfpack more than I did the original, just because I like Sting and Luger and Conan. And,
K-Dog was really good fit.
Yeah, I said I liked that group better than I did the 50 people that were in NWO.
And that's the thing, man. Like with NWO, like we were saying earlier, you just added. There was just so many damn members. Like every week, somebody new was joining, and it's like, man, it's just not even fun anymore. I like DX for the antics. I liked NWO for the gang mentality. They felt more like a gang. Spray painting people, beating people with ball bats. Sting was a big part of NWO, though. A lot of people don't realize that. Like Sting was a big part of NWO. I mean. Hell, the man didn't talk for a year. He never cut a promo. He just pointed his damn bat at what he wanted. Like, Him and Hogan, awesome Starrcade. I think it was 97. I think.
So, yeah.
Awesome. I think Sting going over was the best for business. Hogan ran with it. For how many months and years.
Yeah.
It felt like years. I mean, Hogan. I just felt like Hogan was NWO champion, then he was just NWO champion for fucking ever. But I think Sting going over was best for business. It actually made Hogan. I think for me, Hogan became a star again. Two people, Sting and Piper. When he did the thing with Piper, Love Roddy Piper, one of my favorite fucking heels. Classic coconut.
Yep.
Piper's Pit was a shit. But I think for me. In WWF, WWE, Hogan really never had a challenger besides Savage and Warrior. But there really wasn't a lot of meetings between those people. Sting and Piper, loved the storylines, thought it was great.
Are you talking about in WCW?
Yeah. I thought like when Piper, went crazy and, was in Alcatraz and all that stuff, a great storyline.
Again, he's a great entertainer.
Yeah.
So that's the difference between.
Well, look what Piper did with Goldust with the Parking Lot Brawl.
The backlight brawl. Yeah.
Oh my God, that was just, dude, that was so cool.
Yeah.
Let's wind this up here. Let's do this. I'm gonna step off screen really quick.
Okay.
I'm gonna let you. Floor is yours, brother.
Okay.
Whatever you want to say.
Cool. So I would like to thank you for watching this very entertaining podcast. Definitely come out November 13th in Kokomo, Indiana, the Alliance Event Center. There is a 5-on-5 Survivor Series main event, and that could be the last time that you see me in a ring, wrestling, entertaining you for AACW. So definitely come out and see that. Also check out HCW, Facebook, YouTube, HCW Insurgents, 24/7. They have lots of videos on there that talks about all of our different shows that we've had, and they do a lot of spotlights. So they highlight some specific wrestlers, some that you may not know, some that you may, but a lot of them are very good workers, and we definitely want you to be entertained, so we definitely do that. So,
with that being said, man, I have a couple more quick point notes I want to make out to you. Obviously, again, I appreciate you coming down. Cheers, brother.
Oh.
I appreciate you coming down, making the drive, obviously. Let's segue into this really quick. I know you're talking about the Survivor Series match that you guys are doing.
Yep.
AACW. What's your plans, man? Going forward, AACW, obviously you've been the longest reigning world champion. How many days did you hold the title, by the way?
It was 2019 to 2021, so it was November of 2019.
Damn.
Yeah, so it was almost 2 years.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't see. I was thinking like a year. So you're
now just for the record, Christian Cash has thrown in my face, and Justin has thrown in my face that it was also champion during a pandemic. But for the record, I did defend the title in empty arena matches. So for that, so you can't use that as any reason why.
Now, speaking of the pandemic, let me bring this up really quick before we start closing this up. Because I know during the pandemic, a lot of stuff, was shut down. Obviously, you worked.
Mm-hmm.
You did the empty arena matches?
Mm-hmm.
Was it? Let's talk about that, because I am curious about this. So let's do this. I know being a performer, former, I'm retired now, but being a former musician and did it for, like you were saying, wrestling 30 plus years. I've done it for 3 decades. During the pandemic, it was weird being a performer. How did that mentally change you, and how did that change you altogether as far as you're a heel, you're not going to get heat, obviously, because there's nobody in the seats.
It's a lot harder to work with nobody commenting on what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So to just do what you're doing.
So performers, commentators, that's all you had.
Well, even then, the commentators, we weren't hearing them.
Yeah.
If they were commentating to the video.
Yeah.
So if they were in a different spot, then we couldn't hear them. So, but to just for all the fans out there, if you come to a show, the more vocal you are, and being on a, don't be rude or vulgar, you can be vocal but be professional at the same time. The more vocal you are, the more that we enjoy it because it knows that what we're doing is worthwhile. But to not have that sucked. So it's
a lot harder.
Oh yeah.
Let's talk about this really quick before we close this up. Curious about your opinions on this because I know you carried the World's Championship very proudly and you were a very good champion. Rick Vidal, man, what's your thoughts on Rick Vidal? I got him coming on the show here in the next.
Yeah, I saw him begging to get on. So
the blow up king, man.
Yeah. So I have respect.
Obviously, you were in the match with him.
Yeah.
You know the deal.
Vidal is an opportunist.
Okay.
When Brody or I am ready to take back the title, we will. So Rick, just enjoy it while you can. It's a huge accomplishment that you were able to not beat me for the title. So congratulations on that. I'm glad that I was able to wear down DeVille for you, so that way you can walk around as a champion. So I'm not.
You kind of gotta, not to interrupt you, but piggyback on what you said. You kind of gotta. Nothing against Rick Vidal, but I took a chest chop from the man. You know what I mean? But you kind of gotta look at it that way. You didn't really lose the match. You didn't lose the title.
I wasn't pinned to lose the title.
You didn't lose the title.
Correct. I was eliminated from the match, which
first out, which, like I said, obviously you said earlier that I popped, but yeah, you technically didn't get pinned to lose the championship. So what's your thoughts on that, man? Okay, let's do this. You're in the ring, you get pinned.
Yep.
You're out. New champion's getting crowned. New champion's getting crowned.
Very
DeVille
upset about that.
or Vidal.
Yep.
When you go backstage and you go through the curtain, man, and you're sitting there in the chair, where you at, man? Almost 2 years champion? Like, passing the torch in a way, right? I mean, granted,
yes.
Passing the torch?
Well, it's again, when I'm me or Brody, when we're ready to take that title back for the gold standard, we'll take it back. Right now, we are focused. Justin and Christian are our focus. Christian, our Vidal, when he's our focus.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have
Plans
myself,
for
if you have myself and Brody Watkins zeroing in on you, are you going to be a little scared? Him as our backup, but just not even that, just in the ring. Me or Brody. If we decide, okay, well, are we ready to take the heavyweight championship back? Okay. Do you really think that Vidal, on his own, he is a talented worker, not going to take anything away from him. I know you guys are buddies, and I'm not saying that he is not, but you look at Brody and look at myself. Who I have as backup, who Brody has as backup. Do you really think that if I really wanted that belt back, that we couldn't get it? Or if Brody decided, hey, I want that belt, okay. As long as one of us has it, I think that's all that matters.
And I have to agree with you, man. Gold standard. I love the name. I think what you guys were doing together, phenomenal. I looked at you as Vader. Look at him as Bam Bam Bigelow. Mm-hmm. You had this big son of a bitch in here. You guys are unstoppable, man. I mean, absolute force. Take him out of the equation. He's on the outside of the ring.
Mm-hmm.
You two together, I think what you and Brody, shout out Brody, I think what you two have done with Justin and Christian has been phenomenal. I wish this is what I wanted. I wish this could have happened. Fans bring the weapons.
Mm-hmm.
I know I bring this up a lot, but that was the first time in local wrestling that when I was filming, I had to stand on my chair. And again, I know I bring this match up a lot, but that I don't think that match can be topped. Big man. That match was just fucking phenomenal, man. And I know I talked to Brody on a personal level about it and everything. You know, we've texted and talked and whatnot and called each other.
And just, do you know how upset I was because I was suspended?
Exactly. And I was going to bring that up because you weren't involved.
So it was 2-on-1.
Yeah, you were involved in that. I can only imagine what the gold standard together would have done with said match.
That match would have
Where
turned
were you
out.
at, man, mentally on that?
I was more.
Were you there that night? Because I don't remember seeing you. I was going to say, I don't remember seeing you.
No, I was barred from the.
Yeah.
I was not allowed to be in it. That was because of what I did to the ref.
I mean,
Okay,
Brody
yeah.
bled. I mean, oh my God,
I know,
he bled like
I know, and things would have been reversed because if there's a fans bring the
Shane got
weapons match. Involved. What? Shocking, isn't that?
You know what I mean? Bring that back up.
Yeah.
He got involved.
Of course he did. So it was 3-on-1.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Brody had his manager at the time there,
Mm-hmm.
but he is not me. I'm sorry, but his manager is. He is not me. So if I was there,
Outcome would have been different.
Outcome would have been significantly different because if you're when you put me in a regular match with Brody and we're going against other people, there's rules, and we both have it. And now when there's not rules, you see what happens to other people when we throw the rules out, the rule book out the window.
Mm-hmm.
So the ref got involved in my match. He got his shoulder separated, and because I was so pissed, and I decided to do some damage to him.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying
Brett?
that I we would have won, but they would have been not as excited to win if they had won because they would have been in way more pain than what they ended up with. No, it's not. Again, you don't get to kill them if there's no rules. That's not how this works. Down to 7.
I am
instead of 11.
I am so fucking excited to see you in the ring, dude. I want you to know your debut is I want everybody to know I'm being dead serious right now. You're a jacked motherfucker, and I have seen you do your thing around the ring posts and the stairs. I cannot wait until Survivor Series, not WWE Survivor Series, but Survivor Series match AACW in November. This motherfucker's going to destroy.
He will break someone in half.
Am I right or am I wrong?
No,
He's
you're
gonna
right.
break a motherfucker in half.
There's gonna be 2 pieces of somebody because he'll get him in a bear hug or he'll get him.
I don't give a shit who your other 2 partners are. You two and Brody could go into a match 3-on-5. Hey, I'm putting my money on you. I'm sorry, Christian. I love you, brother. I do. Justin, much love, but
Yeah, they don't have anything on the line like I do. I mean, they're wrestling for Shane, for Hog.
Yeah.
Because that's the only way that they're ever going to get anywhere in life is having him protecting them. And if he's not there, what are they? I'm sorry, Christian. I'm sorry, Justin. But Brody and I, we decide what goes on in AACW.
Yep.
Once Shane's gone, because we will win this match.
Sorry, boys. I love you, but the man known as Southern, I gotta go. Survivor Series match.
It's a safe bet.
You two, Brody, whoever you all get for your other 2 partners. I gotta go. I'm gonna say that officially now.
Place your money.
Yeah, I'd put the money down on that. I've gotta go, you guys. closing up really quick here. Big motherfucker. Big, intimidating dude. You and Brody, again, I know I said this earlier, but nothing against Christian and Justin. My personal opinion, you and Brody should be tag team champions right now. You should have one half of the tag team championships in here on this table.
It'll
And that's
happen.
just my opinion. I know we talked about obviously the Survivor Series match. So in closing, let's do this. Go ahead and hype up the match real quick for me, because I want to feel that. I know you did that already, but I personally stepped off camera, and I want to feel this personally.
So 5-on-5. So there's multiple stipulations. I'll make sure you understand that. So there's multiple stipulations. So the big one is team captain. So team captain for me is, of course, me. For Hog, it's him. He's not even wrestling in the match, but he's willing to put his career on the line along with me. So whoever's team wins, the other team captain can never set foot in an AACW ring again. You are not to do anything in the ring, interfere, anything. You can stay on a stage. You can stay backstage. So
Carry gear.
for me, it's going to have Hog carry my gear to the back after every match when my team wins. The second stipulation in the match, if my team wins, we get another shot at the tag titles, which we will take full advantage of. If my team loses, Brody can never, because I'll be gone, of course, Brody can never challenge for the tag team titles ever. So Brody has something to lose. I have something to lose. Justin and Christian, what do they have to lose? Nothing.
So you basically, I feel like you're putting everything on the line.
That's how confident I am with
What
my
are they
team.
putting on the line?
Nothing. Shane, Hog. Oh, God forbid. That's the only thing that they're willing to put up because
So Brody can't challenge for the tag titles. You're never going to wrestle again.
Yeah. They have to. If they lose, what happens?
I'm the heel of the heart.
If they lose, what happens? They have to give us another shot.
I like
again.
the heels.
Okay.
I like the heels.
They don't want to lose because they know if Hog is gone, they don't have anybody to cover for them. They are the golden boys of AACW because of Shane. Shane, I'm sorry. I mean, I love you, but they're like your little puppies, and I know you're going to give them everything that you want. Anything that they want, you're going to give to them. But as of the 13th, that's done.
November 13th. 5-on-5.
5-on-5.
You've putting everything on the line. Brody's putting everything on the line.
That's
I love
how-
Justin. I love Christian. Obviously, we talked about Christian earlier. Brother, I'm sorry. I'm going to throw my hands up right now, and I'm going to say I got to go Team Southern. To that, cheers. To you, gentlemen, Survivor Series winning.
Indeed.
Big man. One last question before I have you sign the table.
Yep.
I found something the other day that interested me about you. Let's talk about Indie Pro.
The video game?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that really quick. Let's do a 5-minute quick thing about that because I want you to promote that because I love video games.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a huge video gamer guy. Indie Pro 22. Let's go.
So there's a new PC game that's coming out called Indie Pro, and the federation that I work for AACW is going to be one of the feds that will be associated with that, and you will be able to either play as or against the man called Southern with that game. Now, just kind of throw something else up. There is another game called Indie Wrestler that ACW is involved in, and I'm a part of that too. So
Okay.
that's why it's
And that's
the second
Indie Wrestler.
I believe so. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It's a while. It's been a while ago, so I
Okay.
wasn't thinking about it. But yeah, so that's an athlete. That's actually on. You can get it on the Play Store. You can get it in the App Store for Apple.
Yeah.
So Google Play. So you can actually download it.
Okay.
Now, where farther you have to actually play it to get to the American, because it's a game that was made in England, I believe, and they have a lot of European and Japan and stuff.
Okay.
And in North America, you have to actually play a little bit to get to us. But I am one of the playable characters that you can go against.
So you're in the video game.
Mm-hmm. So there, but
Let's talk about that really quick.
Any pro, like I said, I don't know a lot about it because it's just coming out.
Yeah.
So I don't know, like I said, a lot about it, but I'm very excited because anything that I'm able to.
Very cool promotion.
Oh, yeah.
Promotional photo
Yep.
for you too, by the way. When I found that the other night during the Bulls game, phenomenal photo. I thought that was really cool, like very cool setup for the photograph and everything. So you are going to be a playable character.
Yes.
Okay. So let's talk about this, and this is my last question. How fucking cool is that?
It's very fucking cool.
Yeah.
I
think it's badass.
To have something
Like-
that you're able to, that's I'm gonna outlive you. I mean, even if it's,
Yeah.
you know,
30 years,
from now,
50 years,
whatever,
yeah.
you know, even if somebody's like, oh, look at this retro game, I mean, I'll be in that.
And 50 years from now, PlayStation 4 and all that is retro.
Oh,
you
yeah,
know what I mean?
so-
like just like NES and all that stuff. But
just to
you were a
have
part of that.
Yeah, it's exciting. I mean,
You've had a good career.
I believe I have. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're a top talent. I think you longest reigning AACW World Champion.
Yep.
Carried the title, Ric Flair wise. Very respectful, very respectful champion.
It meant a lot to
Very
me.
proud.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could tell that. Very proud. And I use the Ric Flair term because he carried the title a certain way. Proud to be that company's champion. I think. I know. Great wrestler.
Thank you.
Tremendous heel. Oh my God. Again, going back to you and Brody, the gold standard. Man, you two, you just own what you do. You know what I mean? You can tell you take pride in it. If you guys haven't checked out Travis Southern, check him out on Facebook at Travis Southern. Hawaiian Hitman, big motherfucker over here. Terrified of this guy. Don't grab me up like Brody did. Hey, by the way, thanks, Brody, for destroying the set. Appreciate that.
I was gonna ask, how much did that cost to hire the Brody Botkins demolition team?
That was fun.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, hey, I'm going to do a special thank you episode, and Christian hits me up. Hey, I'm going to stop by, and the next thing I know, Brody's at my door, and here we are.
Yeah,
Hung a few new lights and a couple extra things.
Oh, speaking of that, I wanted to give you something to give you a little bit. If you want to put a little bit better decorations out, I wanted to make sure that I gave you a Knights in the Squared Circle shirt. This is a gift for you for having me on here. But if you want to proudly display it, or if you even want to wear it at the show,
Thank you.
you're more than welcome to have that. So I appreciate
So
you having me on.
this is the Knights
It's a nice shirt.
right there, Travis Southern. Thank you, brother.
You're
Appreciate
welcome.
that, man.
Appreciate it.
Very, very fucking cool. Man, it's been a blast. I love that you're in a video game. I think, like we were talking earlier, I think that's really cool, man. Thank you for the t-shirt. Big man. Can't wait for your debut. I am looking, I know you and I were talking earlier about Survivor Series matches, of how it used to be something, and I think you guys, I think AACW is really gonna hit. Kokomo Alliance Center, hope you guys show up in November. Gotta ask this really quick. Soul Survivors, where you at?
Team Southern. I mean, it doesn't matter. It's gonna be us. I mean, do you really think?
Do I turn heel with that show?
Do you really think that anybody that?
How you gonna put my favorite big man?
Do you really think that anybody that Justin, Christian, Shane, if they have to bring people in, I
wanna
think
do
the
this.
only way.
Y'all take it. I'm sorry.
Look at
I'm going to
myself.
you guys, man.
Look at Brody Botkins and look at the Hawaiian Hitman. Do you really think that anybody that they get is going to stop us? They are going to have to bring in ringers. I mean, I don't know. Shane's got connections. I don't know, what strings he's going to have to pull to bring in to save
What strings are you
history.
gonna pull?
That's the thing. I don't.
I feel like you're putting everything on the line. What's on the line for them? Shane?
How much do they love Shane?
I'm not one for a lot of words, but Christian and his pink pants butt buddy got something coming to him after that nut shot.
Christian, Justin, the man was speaking to you. Gentlemen, it's been an absolute fucking pleasure. November 13th, Kokomo Alliance Center, Survivor Series, and I mean Survivor Series. This ain't WWE Survivor Series. No, this is 95, 96 Survivor Series. Like, this is important.
This is literally Survivor because
This is Survivor.
I'm done with AACW, and I don't want to be done with AACW. I love this company. I want to continue
Good company,
providing.
man. Cool company too. Very kid friendly. You know, everything's great. You know, I'm going with you guys. I'm gonna throw that out there now. I love Christian. I love Justin. You know, obviously that's their team as of now. Obviously Hawaiian Hitman, Travis Southern.
You just don't want Brody to come back in here and remodel your.
Yeah, thanks, Brody. I really appreciate you coming in and snatching my scrawny ass up and throwing me around. But hey, I got to maneuver the table around a little bit, a little extra signing room, you know, add some lights. But Brody, man, you and Brody, man, gold standard. On that note, I'm gonna do this. Gold standard. Survivor Series, you guys. And that's the truth. I'm a heel at heart. Sorry, guys. I gotta go heel. Brother, tradition, I'm gonna hand you the pen. Sign wherever you want. Big man, I know you don't talk much, but if you'd like to sign the table, I'd appreciate you signing the table. Thanks for not picking me up and throwing me around, because I know you could. So thank you very much for that. Appreciate that. I want you to know you jack motherfucker too. Just look at that. Look at that. Show the camera, baby. Show them. Let them know like what's coming November. Justin Terrell, Christian Cash, whoever y'all get, Team Hog. I love wrestling. I am a heel. I am shooting with Shane right now, and I gotta go with Team Southern. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry, but look at the man. Look at him. What are you gonna do? You've got the team leader over here, a veteran. You got Brody Botkins. Hell, this dude snatched me up like I was a damn fly on the wall. Don't know the rest of the team. Y'all three can just do what you do.
I will have other people that'll be able to.
Well, obviously, you're going to have two other guys.
Yeah,
but y'all three, to me, give me that all day. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, been a pleasure. Loved having you guys on, man. Absolutely blast talking to you guys. I'm going to do one more shot with you guys before we cancel this out. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to give out a couple quick shout-outs really fast, kind of what I do here on SWS. I want to say really quick to Wally and Linz's Flea Market here in town. Check them out. A lot of cool collectibles. I get a lot of my stuff from them. You can find them on Facebook at Wally and Linz's Flea Market. Check them out on Friday mornings at 10 a.m. Live auction. Saturday night 10 p.m. live auction. I want to give a shout out to the Super Click. Two sweet motherfuckers, I love you. Terry, Tanner, Erica, Super Click for life. Love you guys. To the Click, love you guys very much. Ryan, Travis, David, love you guys. To my wife, Emmy Timmons, check her out on Facebook at Emmy Timmons at shearsalon.com. Check her out there, get your hair and stuff done. With that being said, gentlemen, it's a wrap. It's been fun. Team Southern, man.
Team Southern.
Gotta go Team Southern. Appreciate you coming on,
Hey,
man.
man, thank you. Anytime.
Big man. With that being said, I want to say this, and that's just too sweet.